Good evening, everybody. This is your host, Huge Pop, from the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. We're from the Panhandle of Florida. Our guest hails from Louisiana. He has stepped into the squared circle in several promotions like United Wrestling Entertainment, Warrior Wrestling Alliance, and Northwest Pro Wrestling. He is none other than the Pitbull, the Ruthless one. Welcome to the HPWP Drop Zone, the Ruthless Devonte Adams. How you doing, my friend?
Well, what about yourself, man?
Doing good, doing good. I think you and I are dealing with some bad weather, so we're gonna get through this. And I'm thankful that you are wanting to come on here and willing to share your story of and stuff like that. So, if we could get started, I will just ask this question straight out of the box. As a fan growing up, what was that like for you, and what were some of your favorites?
Um, Growing up as a fan, man, it was a time like no other. You know, you're coming into the WWF versus WCW era, the invasion, the alliance, and it was a fun time to watch wrestling. You on the tail end of because I'm 30 years old. Let me throw that out.
Okay.
So, uh, you're on the tail end of Attitude Era going into the Ruthless Aggression Era. So that's when your major stars that we all grew up in and love. That's when you saw a lot of that. Um, so it was just amazing, man. Just so amazing. My favorites, man, I got so many, but my top favorite has to be Booker T.
Okay.
Booker T is the one.
All right. I'm a Sting guy. I love Sting. My favorites like NWO era where Hogan comes down, drops the leg on Macho Man, and boom, there you
Yeah,
go. So yeah,
yeah.
so WCW guy all the way. So you watch current stuff?
I watch a lot of the WWE. Matter of fact, SmackDown is on another room right now.
All right.
Um, I'm really never home to watch a lot of AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I watch a lot of the older TNA stuff, so I'm
Okay.
trying to get a little more current on it as we speak right now. Um, but I try to stay up, man. I'm hardly ever home, so it's
Okay.
kind of hard to kind of just sit down and watch when you're really not at home.
Right. So WCW. I got a trick question for you, so be careful.
Mm.
WCW. Who is the greatest WCW champion of all time?
Mm.
This is TikTok's fault, so I'm just gonna throw that out.
um, I'm gonna probably say, yeah, that's a hard question. That is really a hard question.
I'll give you the answer, all right? Straight out of the box. David
Uh,
Arquette.
okay, okay, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
why not, right? Um,
Right.
is there a match that sticks out to you as a, oh my god, that match is like you watch it over and over again?
So in let's see, I think when we started going into the ruthless aggression era, there was a ladder match on Raw when they were doing, I think, Monday Night Raw Roulette. Well, I remember, I think it was Kane and Hurricane and a few others, and I think they were defending the tag titles.
Okay.
And what made me stand out and really like get involved, man, JR was such a beast on the mic when it came to doing color commentary. He really like in that match. My favorite part of that had to have been when there was a spot. I can't remember who was in the spot though right now though, but there was a spot where he hollered, "Somebody get the EMTs" as they fell off the ladder, and I was like, bruh, he
Yeah.
was killing it every step of the way.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, bruh, JR is just love to have had JR call a match for me, man. Like
Yeah,
for real.
that would be good. Yeah. I mean, I think watching it as a fan, today's dates, we have some great
We do. We
commentators. We
do.
have some not so good ones either, but it's fun to
Yeah.
listen to those guys. They make the show in my part. They help make the show in my opinion. So yeah. So you decided, hey, you're like, hey, I'm going to try this out. So where'd you train, and why did you choose this place to train at, and what said to you, hey, it's my time?
So I've always wanted to do this as a little child. I've always been involved in stuff like um electronics, music, and sports.
Okay.
Uh, the problem with sports was I was always small. I was always picked last with a lot of stuff. I'm 5'4", so a lot of people look at me and be like, "Man, you want to do what?" That yeah, no, that you sit at the back of the line. We'll probably pick you last and everything. Moving forward, I've always, like I said, I've always been a fan of wrestling, and I heard about a school down in the Lake Charles area that was going to open up eventually. Um, and then something happened to where they just fell off the map. And so it was actually not too long ago, a friend of mine was like, "Hey, um, have you seen this?" And I was like, "No." And it was United Wrestling Entertainment. So I was thinking, um, at the time, it was like, nah, it's not gonna be something legit, whatever. And I was asking people about it, and it was like, well, we hadn't heard about it either. So
Right.
I was like, well, it's now or never. I'm gonna go try to see what's going on and everything. So I went to the trial. I loved it. Uh, Signed up for the school, went through the training, and I was actually in a class that would catch on fairly quickly. So we were progressing a lot faster than what others did, which pretty much got us in our first show a lot faster.
Okay.
Um, and as time went on, and as I got better and better, and learned the ins and outs of everything, pretty much it was like falling in love again with it. Except for now, I'm actually doing it.
Okay. And what did this partake? Well, how many years ago was this?
Um, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm at year 3, so we're
Okay.
at the halfway mark of year 3, I think.
Okay. Now, did you learn mic skills on this? Because I someone told me that you're really good on the mic. You're good at talking. So I'm just going to ask you, was that taught to you um at school? At
So no, it wasn't. The mic skills were actually something I gained as time went on. So I'm involved in churches. I'm involved in a lot of community stuff. So it just came naturally after a while. Um, so it was always there. And
Okay.
then people would always pick me to do different like skits and stuff in elementary and all that. And it just came naturally.
All right. So your boy Andrew Har is out here. He says, "My boy, what's up?" So thank you, Andrew, for popping in on this chat. Hit the follow button on my YouTube channel. Let's give them support the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. But thanks again for showing up in the chat. He did give me some information on you, by the way. So if it's some bad stuff, you might better take care of that from a different angle, I guess. So now you're through training. You get that first match. You get that first bump. What's that first bump feel like?
Car accident.
All
Car
right.
accident. It when your body's not used to it starting out, you're going to feel it.
Okay.
Running the ropes, you're going to feel it. Um, but as time goes on, you do it more and more and more, your body adjusts to it. You get to where, okay, this is not so bad, to eventually it's like it's second nature. There
Okay.
are still bumps that still do hurt to this day. Um, and some ropes are stiffer than others, but as time go on, your body still adjusts to it. So you just have to just keep running the ropes, keep practicing as much as you can, and eventually you'll be ready for whatever you're facing.
Okay. So in United Wrestling Entertainment, Warrior Wrestling Alliance, and Northwest Pro Wrestling, and everything you've done so far, are there any guys that you've faced that you don't care to face again for whatever reason? Now, are there any guys that you faced that you, man, I need more matches with him?
So the amazing Austin Andrews is one guy who we've developed a love-hate relationship, but I can actually honestly call him a good partner at the end of the day. If I had to go to war against somebody, that's number one who I'm calling. Um, I would love to have many, many, many more matches with that guy because he's he brings out the best in you and he brings out the worst in you. And what I mean by that is he's gonna make you dig deep to try to compete against him. it's really not another talent on the roster like that except X Storms, which we haven't faced each other yet. So, in the future, I hope to do that. But as for somebody who I maybe faced once and would not care to face again, I welcome all opponents, man. I live and I learn from each and every one of my face. So really, I don't think it's ever one that I'm gonna probably be like, nah, I don't ever want to do it again.
Okay, so you think you can take Andrew Har then, right?
Man, listen, right now he in the win column, he's a little ahead, maybe about 1, 2. But if we overrun it back again, I'm getting my wins back.
There you go. There you go. Andrew Har, I'm sorry, man. He's calling you out. So whenever that chance gets, he wants to take it on because he wants those W's, man. So that's between you and him. So your inspirations, your influences. Is there anybody that influenced that you take your wrestling style from that influences you and your character wise, everything like that?
So a lot of people compare me to Iceman King Parsons,
Mm,
because of the well, this side, the bees, because of the fact of how I do that. Iceman King Parsons and Elijah Burke. That's where the wisdom bees came from. Fighting style. If you watch a lot of the punches, I took a few from Iceman and from Junkyard Dog, some things like that, especially the pit bull gimmick. Uh, Man, that storm is not playing outside. uh, but and striking abilities. I watch a lot of John Cena, The Rock when it comes to striking, and kicking wise was a lot of Rob Van Dam.
okay.
So I would actually take a lot of that, mix it together, and try to make it to what Devontae Adams is today.
Okay. So you mentioned legends like Junkyard Dog. So did you get to go against him at times? Did he help you through some stuff or?
No, Junkyard Dog. I actually just would sit down and watch a lot of his matches to
Okay.
really just kind of see what I could pull.
Yeah.
I wish I would have had the opportunity to actually meet him.
Uh-huh.
And ask questions because it's a lot of people who ask me who are like, "Hey, look, I have a friend who's trying to run the dog gimmick, and they're not understanding it. What are you doing? Because it looks like it's working for you. What are you doing?" And it's like I don't have all the answers to it yet. I'm still figuring out as I go. And I wish it was other dog characters who I could really talk to similar to Junkyard Dog and ask, "Hey, how did you do this? Because it's working for me, but I want it to be better."
Okay. Yeah. Strive for greatness, man. That's always
Right.
the thing. Yeah. So who's your closest friend in the business? And do you guys travel together? You guys hang out? What's going on with
Austin Andrews.
that?
Austin Andrews. Austin Andrews, Cowboy Cliff Rogers, X Storms, another guy named Gatekeeper. Uh, Great bunch of guys, man. There's many others I can name that I travel with. Ricka Wiley, few others. But we've created so many memories, so many um just moments to the point where it's so many at this point now, this early in career, to the point where I'm looking forward to what comes next.
Okay.
Because it's
Yeah.
always something with these with these guys, man. It's
Yeah.
always something.
I don't want to break bro code or anything like that, but is there any funny stories that you can share about a road trip or about backstage or anything like that?
The infamous ride from hell.
Okay. Let's
So
hear
me, Austin Andrews, and Cowboy Cliff Rogers were actually on the way to an event in East Texas. Uh and I was actually in the back seat, they were in the front. I want to say and Andrews was driving, had to have been driving, and Cowboy was in the passenger seat, and they're having a whole blown conversation, not paying attention to the road. Traffic had stopped at this point, and we're going 70 miles an hour down the road, and they're still in the conversation. I'm like, "Hey, guys, 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 hey!" And as I get louder, they turn back and be like, "What?" I say, "Car." The minute I say car, they slam on brakes. I go from the middle to almost to the windshield, and it's like, seriously? you know. So
Yeah,
I was like, I really need y'all to pay attention, man, because I don't want to go through the windshield before I get to the match, man.
right, right. I want to make it to the match.
Right,
I feel like a car wreck going through that match, but I don't need to go through a car wreck in person.
right, exactly.
Yeah. So brotherhood, that sounds like brotherhood's important in the business, so on and so forth. Giving back is that important to you in the business?
Very because this is how you bring in new talent. This is how you train your new talent. Um, you always want to try to take somebody under your wing when they're first coming in, especially when they're very, very green in the business. Um, I know a lot of people will say you don't really make friends in the business, but honestly, it's nothing wrong with it in my point of view because you may meet that person, female, male, that's like, hey man, I don't really know this, that, and the third. Can you help me out? Um, and you can easily just give them some word of advice, and that goes a long way. Somebody had to do it for me,
Right,
so I don't mind giving back to somebody.
right, absolutely. So legends in the back. How important is it for you to just sit with them and listen to what they critique your matches, or isn't that something you need?
110%. Um, I owe a lot of my career to Dapper Dan, who is our head coach with United Wrestling Entertainment, and to Prince Funkno. Um, because without them, I don't think I would be as big as I am now.
Okay.
And I don't think I'm any bigger than anybody else that's 3 years in, but I'm very thankful, very grateful to them because first of all, me and Prince won the UW United I messed that all up. United Wrestling Entertainment Tag Team Championships, and we actually held them for the longest reigning in I think Louisiana history. Because we actually researched and looked at it, which we were trying to get it actually in the history books, but I don't know if that ever happened or not. But without him, I don't think I would. I don't think I could have done it with anybody else, and that's just the honest to God truth. And then with Dapper Dan training us, teaching us the fundamentals, teaching us what to do, what to look out for on the road, man, I'm just grateful.
Any advice you give people that want to get into the business?
Um, if you're having second thoughts about it, don't. Time is short. You never know when your last day is. I wish long time ago I would have gotten into this so long ago and made so many memories so long ago. Um, at 30, the window is ticking, and you look at these younger guys coming in like, man, could do that about 10 years ago, but
Yeah.
but it's a lot of I wish, and I really wish I didn't have to deal with that. But if you haven't, and this to anybody out there for any dream, don't second guess it. Go through what you want to go through. You either gonna fail and learn from it, or strive and really make it.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree 100% with that. So, as a fan of wrestling, I just wanted to pick your brain. How important are fans to you? Your merch table, the interactions, at least. How important is that to you?
So when it comes to the fan base, um, that's really what makes and breaks a character. With the pit bull character, um, if I didn't have them barking along with me, I ask where my dog's at, who yard is this, getting that feedback, it's like, man, people love it, whether they cheer or whether they boo. You wanna if you're a heel, you wanna be that one that they absolutely hate, but then they love to see you at every match.
Yeah,
And as a face, you wanna be that one that people like, this is my hero. So without them, you really don't your character really just is just there. Just bland without them.
right. And I can tell you right now, I used to watch I still watch WWE and AEW and stuff like that, but 2 years ago I had my first experience in checking out an indie show. Went to Panama City Beach, seeing Extreme Impact Wrestling (XIW) with Jackson Slade, Wardell Walker. Some of the guys go over to St. or over to where you're at in Louisiana. Some guys don't, but they made it feel so real and so you left there going, oh my God, I want to go back in 2 months because what the heck's going to happen? Because they told stories, right?
Right.
So I think I'm glad that I had that experience. I will say this live here. I'd rather go to an indie show, pay my $20 to people for you to support people like you than to pay my $80 to go and sit in the top row watching WWE. I just put it like that.
And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm getting to that point to where even if I'm not competing, I would like to watch a lot more of the indie shows
Yeah.
just because it's very unpredictable. An
Right.
unpredictable feeling of what's going on. And then, you can interact with them more and us more than you can with, the bigger superstars. And there's nothing wrong with going, don't get me wrong, there's nothing going to a house show of a live tape and nothing like that for WWE,
Yeah.
AEW, TNA. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like there's more genuality, if that's a word. It's more genuine going to an indie show and actually seeing that because these guys really put their blood, sweat, and tears into what they do.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So I told you I was a foster dad. This time the show, I just relaxed and I have I think 10 questions came from the foster kids. So they're real short shoot questions. So favorite
Okay.
food,
Man, I'm a Southern boy, so etouffee. Etouffee, man.
dude. I haven't had two faces since I lived in Chattanooga. That was the best. That was the best stuff, man. Does pineapple belong on your pizza?
I've never tried it, but I mean, I don't knock it till you try it.
Favorite book?
Favorite book. Um, I don't think I have a favorite book like no, yes I do, yes I do, yes I do. The Giver.
Okay.
I remember reading that in high school, and I fell in love with that book.
Favorite TV show?
I mean, Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown. That's gonna be the favorite things, man.
Favorite movie?
Anything. Okay, so when it comes to movies, anything with the Ninja Turtles in it,
Okay.
and anything with Godzilla in it, that's just me.
Okay. How about your hobbies?
Uh, I'm a musician, full time musician outside of what I do. And I do a little bit of mechanic work here and there. So
Okay. What about your favorite sports team?
Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens,
All
man.
right. All right. And what is your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers?
Ooh. Of course, I'm gonna say Booker T is on there as a number one.
Okay.
Sting right after number two.
Okay.
Um, Rey Mysterio will be another one.
Yeah.
I will put on there just because the size, you know, with me and him. Um, let's see, in my fourth and fifth, I'm gonna have to put John Cena on there just because of his whole run throughout the Ruthless Aggression era
Okay.
and The Rock. Of course, The Rock.
Okay.
You can't really, to me, you can't have a Rock Mark Rushmore without The Rock.
You can't. No, absolutely not. So you run through Texas at all? Like, you guys travel in Texas?
Um, I actually just came from Texas. Was it last weekend? I think last weekend doing a show with called Joint Forces with League Alliance, our promotion, Warrior Wrestling Alliance, and a few other promotions.
Okay.
Um, I also work with Alliance Championship Wrestling with a guy named Jesse Reyes.
Okay.
Good guy, good group of guys in there. They're a little rough around the edges, but I love going out there with them.
Gotcha.
Um, but those are, I think, really the only two really in Texas I've done. I'm trying to reach out to more to get more into Texas, but man, Texas is just so huge.
Right. Did a yearly show, a year long show every Monday with CWF Rockwall, Texas, Christian
Okay, I've
Wrestling,
heard of it.
Christian Wrestling Federation. Man, boy, you want to talk about a fun time? You want to talk about check them out. They're good
Okay,
people. Good people, man. They
definitely.
really are. Rob Vaughn is the head of that, and It's wrestling with a lesson at the end, if that makes any sense. It's just
Oh yeah,
it's
definitely,
amazing
definitely.
stuff. So now we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty of Ruthless Devonte Adams. Some of your guys gave me some info on you, and you can do whatever you want to with the info. But let's talk about July 12th, right? That's
Okay.
coming up. That's you have a match against some guy called Ricka.
Rico Wiley, yeah,
Ricka
that's
Wild.
next
Yeah.
weekend.
So what do you have against the Barker of the Bizarre Ricka Wildly? What do you have against that, man?
It's not so much I have something against him. What it is there's a few people in UWE that I have not faced. There's a few people who they want the Ruthless Nation wants to see the old pit bull face off against. Ricka is one of those. Uh, Ricka is one of three of the best high flyers. Like I said, besides X Storms and Austin Andrews, and to figure out how good I am against somebody who's just in your face with the speed and everything, this is the only way to do it. It's nothing personal against Ricka, but it's gotta be done.
So what's your plans to take down the carnival, man?
Overpower. Overpower. Ricka is a little bit taller. He's much faster, but it's gonna be that situation of let's see how did Clubber Lang say it? Paint. It's paint. If I can shut down his aerial offense, I have a chance. I have because I know he cannot match me strength for strength. It's impossible. It's not too many people in the UW who can do it. There's a handful, but it's not many, and Ricka is not one of those.
Is it bragging rights or is there a title on the line for this?
Um, I really feel like it'll just be bragging rights. It'll be more bragging rights than anything else.
Okay. So have you had your eyes on Rika for a while, or you just
Y- Absolutely, absolutely. Um, from day one, I actually had my eyes on facing Ricka just because he just looks like the interesting character who would catch your attention, who would really just make a good opponent.
okay? So one of your guys asked this then. So if you've never crossed paths with Rika, right?
Mhm.
Why now do you see it? Do you see it that you need to take him down? Why? Why? What did he do? What happened? Was there an interaction? Be honest with us, guy. What happened?
So no, there really wasn't an interaction at all. It's just that when you look at the people who you faced and you look at the people who you defeated, I can't fight Austin Andrews forever. It's not going to happen because eventually we're going to one up each other to the point where it's like, well, what do we do now?
Right.
So Ricka is a tad bit faster than Austin. He's not X Storms fast, but he is a tad bit faster than Austin Andrews. Um, so to actually get in the ring with somebody who can out flip, out move, and out, all that with the aero tactics is something that needs to be done. Because how will I ever know? And here's another thing to prepare for people who are not in Louisiana, who do all the flips and the jumps and all the cartwheels and stuff. This is the best way of doing it.
Okay. So you see that Rika as a practice dummy, right?
If you wanna say it, you said it, not me. But if
I'm
you
just
want to
saying.
say it,
That's what it sounded like you were saying because you were saying you've wrestled Andrew Hart so long, or Austin Andrews so many times. It almost sounded like you felt like it was boring. And now
It,
Ricka,
honestly,
you're saying that Ricka, that you're gonna have no problem with him anyways. But let's just do this, get it done.
honestly, I'm not gonna say it gets boring with Austin, but I don't want it to ever get to
Okay.
that point.
All right.
Um, because man, facing Andrews is like I said, is rough when somebody can actually match you and then switch back to strength. It's like, man, how do you fight somebody just as well balanced as you? It's hard. It's very, very hard. Ricker really can't switch. He's gonna use speed, and I've seen it in all of his matches. He's gonna, and I've been studying. I've been studying. He's gonna switch from speed. He's gonna switch to air. He's gonna switch back. He's gonna do that, but you're not gonna see strength come out of him. Whereas with me, that's what you're mainly gonna see is just straight strength.
So the outcome of this match is based on you. You're going to get the W because you're stronger than him, and he's gonna be quick, whatever. But you got overpowering strength to counterbalance his moves.
Eventually, that speed is gonna wear down. And the key factor is let him get it all out as fast as he can, and once it's all over for him.
What I hear from Ruthless Devonte Adams, you can take anything he can bring at you. He's going to eventually die down, and then you're going to the true strong man's going to come out of it, and you're going to come up with the 1, 2, 3.
Correct. Correct.
So Tyrant would like to know who has the most powerful splash.
Him.
Okay. All
Him.
right.
Him. The only other person I can say has the most powerful splash outside of UW that I felt is the Mountain. Um, the Mountain is ooh wee. His name is just thinking about it. It's like, yeah, I don't, yeah.
Let's run it
Don't
back.
want to ever.
Let's run back a splash from Tyrant. What did that feel like? What was it like after you received that?
If you ever been hit by a Chevy Silverado full speed, is probably what it felt like.
So
Or if you ever been crushed by the strongest person you can think of, that's what it feels like. It's undescribable. And the Tyrant, he's strong and he can match me strength for strength. But Tyrant is just like his size just it's enough to get whatever he needs to get done just because of it.
So what's your win-loss record against Tyrant?
1-0.
1-0.
So we faced off back in what I believe was March. In March, and there's a clip of it on YouTube where I actually blue thunderbombed him into the mat, and people were like, "There ain't no way, there ain't no way." I was like, "Man, listen, it's a way. There's a way. When there's a will, there's a way. Especially when you're trying to get a win."
So the Blue Thunder Bomb, your signature move?
It's one of two. My blue thunder bomb is my one I actually love the most, because it shows the pure strength I have. But my decapitator, which is the scissor kick,
Yeah.
is my favorite.
Okay. So Brady Brown says, I would like to say that as a GM of Warrior Wrestling Alliance, I see true potential in him. I know he's mad. He's mad because he stopped you from cheating. So let's talk about that. Brady Brown evidently, from what I read, stopped you from cheating. Did that cause you a title? How do you feel about that? What's your emotions say? Let Brady Brown know how you feel.
Brady. Okay, so to explain what was the situation last weekend, and I'm glad Brady actually chimed in because he knows me and him have to have a face to face July 20th, and there's no way around it, Brady. You already know this, but you caused Warrior Wrestling Alliance to lose against League Alliance. It's no way possible. I was only doing what needed to be done to protect our brand, to bring the win home for our brand. If I'm the last man standing, I'm going to do what I got to do. So most people know I carry a chain with me named Anastasia. Anastasia came out and he actually stopped me from hitting TD Shepard with the chain. The referee snatched it off my wrist. I pushed Brady. Brady pushed me back. I bumped into TD. TD caught me with a stunner, got the 1-2-3, and won the actual 5-on-5 elimination challenge. Brady, I can't say I'll ever forgive you for that. Simply because of the fact that you know what you did was wrong. You know what the cause was. So why would you stop it, Brady? But like I said, July 20th, it's gonna be on my mind. So have it on yours. That's all I'm gonna say on it.
So this joint force trophy, is that what was up for grabs? Is that something you're still gunning for? Is that in your wheelhouse? Is that in your vision? You're gonna get that?
So I'm not sure if it's something they're gonna do every year or if it was a one-time thing. Um, what I do know is if it ever comes to a point where I have to face TD Shepard again, I'm gonna make that wrong right. There'll be no Brady. There will be no outside other teammates. It's gonna be a one-on-one situation for me and TD Shepard. And I'm gonna show TD that night you got lucky because of Brady. And to be honest with you, I could honestly do it without Anastasia. So you might as well go ahead and say it. TD, whenever you're ready, bro. Whenever you're ready. We'll
So
make
who
it
do we
happen.
need to talk to get TD back in? Is that Brady Brown?
Brady Brown.
Brady Brown. I don't know if you're gonna watch this. If you're watching this, I don't know. But I hear from Ruthless Devonte Adams that dude, he wants TD Brown or
TD Shepard. TD
TD
Shepard.
Shepard. He wants TD Shepard, man. He knows, and I know that you know TD Shepard, and you can make it happen. I'm not sure what your problem is, unless you're afraid of a 5'4" man carrying around a chain. He said he could leave the chain in the back. I've seen his videos. I don't know if I'd be. I think you're afraid. Is what I think you are, Brady Brown, and maybe TD Shepard's afraid as well. But it was laid out on the line. Ruthless Devonte Adams says, anytime, any place, anywhere, TD Shepard, let's make it happen. So Brady Brown, let's make it happen, man. I'd
And
love
then
to
let me
have.
also throw this out there too. Brady, here's another thing. Keep this in mind that your own heavyweight champion, Chris Grimes, even lied to your face and lied to our big man, Derek, who owns WWE, and said basically, he how did he say it? Because I want to actually quote it the correct way. We wouldn't put him on the team, so he went and fought for the other side. So that should say a lot about your choices as it was. So that was already something questionable. But like I say, at the end of the day, July 20th, everything that's on my mind, best believe is coming out.
Awesome, man. So Brady Brown, July 20th, be ready. Man, I'm going to clip this. I'm going to send it to Brady Brown. I'd even be willing to facilitate a podcast with Ruthless Devonte Adams, Brady Brown, and TJ on the podcast, and then they can air the
Make it happen.
differences out, and let's go. So
Make it happen.
I'm gonna clip that. I'm gonna send it to Brady Brown. We're gonna make it happen. So Austin Andrews. Let's talk a little bit about Austin Andrews. He said, "We started out as enemies, and through our battles, we earned each other's respect and have become brothers. That I'm extremely proud of what he is doing out there on the indie scene. No matter no matter where he goes, he's making a major name for himself, and that's everything, man. So that's a praise coming from your boy, Austin Andrews. So I don't. How does that make you feel? What's your comments about that?
Um, try not to get emotional because believe it or not, Austin Andrews, the day that my grandfather passed, was one of the hardest days of my life. We were actually promoting a show in his hometown for UWE when I got the phone call. And he was the first person outside to be there with me. And that meant the world. Um, Love him, hate him, but it's things like that you never forget. Um, we're kind of like Goku and Vegeta, like any other rival there is. But at the end of the day, if I got his back, if he need me, he has mine. If I need him, um, we were actually trying to work on getting a tag team together called the Diamond Dogs. So hopefully in the future we'll be able to put that together somewhere and win tag team championships different places. But I appreciate that, Drew. Like for real, I really honestly do.
Awesome. So the warden, do you have any things to say about the warden? He had some things to say about you, but do you have anything to say
I
about
beat dog. I beat dog. Well, I guess I'm not gonna say anything on that.
him?
um, but the ward snake in the grass, man. Um, you have to constantly watch yourself about the warden because the warden will smile in your face and then stab you in the back not too long after. Um, he really hadn't per se tried to do it to me, except for in a match with me and Tyrant. But at the end of it all, I don't trust the guy. But hey, let's hear what he has to say. He has said
Well,
about that.
snake in the grass. I mean, this sounds like a snake in the grass trying to seduce somebody. So I'm going to read what he said.
Okay.
He says, he was ruthless. Even though you defeated my associate Tyrant, I have a great deal of respect for you. Maybe in the future we could have a working relationship. Both you and Tyrant wanted the exact same revenge on Punk the Clown. Perhaps in the future, if you are interested, we can meet and discuss this further. I don't know, dude. That sounds like he's baiting you into something you don't need to be in.
And I agree with you 100%. That ain't gonna happen because first of all, first of all, there was a moment where they held me against the rope while Punk Sinister tried to. Oh, and that's something else we need to talk about when we get there. But anyway, there was a spot where like you really tried to hold me against the rope and throw powder in my face and thought that you weren't gonna get repercussion behind it. Like, come on, listen, Warden. I don't know, we being PG or whatever, but I'm gonna
No,
keep it
go
clean.
ahead. No,
You
go.
can you can take that off and shove it where the sun don't shine. Because honestly, brother, you ain't got nothing for me. You ain't got nothing to say to me. You know you're tired. But I can tell you what, while you're looking like Captain Crunch over there, at the end of the day, if you really want them problems, get your boy Tyrant. No, don't get Tyrant because I done beat your boy Tyrant. I done beat everybody who you brought to me at the end of the day. So really, I feel like get you another person. Find something that works this time, Warden. Because at the end of the day, what you doing ain't working.
So you mentioned Punk Sinister. Then you stopped. Then you said we'll get there. What are we going to get to? What about Punk Sinister? I see you getting rattled up, man. I see it. So let's go. What about Punk Sinister?
So don't think I didn't see the last podcast with Punk Sinister on it.
I know you did.
Don't think I didn't see it. I saw everything. I saw everything. I heard everything he had to say.
Yep.
But one thing, let me clear up something. He said he made a comment and said he was a tag team champion in UWE. How? How? How was he ever a tag team champion in UWE when I was one of the longest reigning tag teams in UWE? And really, I can name all the tag teams that's had the tag team title since UWE existed. Punk Sanders is nothing but a liar. He's nothing but a snake. And honestly, at the end of the day, the upside down mop can go to hell somewhere. Let me be honest with you. Punk has tried to face me multiple times in tag team matches to try to get the tag team championships from me.
Mm-hmm.
It has not worked. Me and Prince have defeated him with every partner that he's had. So my thing is, at the end of the day, he wants to try to start this whole one-on-one beef with me. Or at the end of the day, find you something safe to do. You're not ready for me. You seen what I did to Tyrant. You're gonna see what I'm gonna do to Rick Wiley this weekend. You seen what I've done to other people. And at the end of the day, man, Punk, man, listen, have yourself several seats. You're not ready to step in the ring with me. And you probably never will be. But if you want that smoke and you bought it, and I'm about it, then let's be about it. You can knuckle up and get knocked down. Straight up.
Straight up. So, and now who's going to set this one up? What promotion is it? Is it
And
another?
listen, honestly, whatever promotion wanted. It could be UWE, Northwest Pro, Warrior Wrestling Alliance, Alliance Championship Wrestling. I don't care if it's your mama, daddy backyard. At the end of the day, you want that smoke, you know where I'm at. You know how to find me.
So I remember I'm thinking back to that podcast about I think it was like earlier this month or earlier in June, I think, and I believe that you were in the chat, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And he had nothing nice to say about you. Snake in the grass.
I was told if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. I'm gonna just leave it at what I done said. Punk, you issued the challenge. Here I am accepting the challenge. You let me know when you ready, and I'm gonna squash you into the dirt, the piece of dirt that you are.
So it sounds like Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast has a couple opportunities if these promoters will feel it fit. One opportunity will come from your boy Brady, right? Mm-hmm. And with you and JT on the same podcast, and then another podcast could be you and your homeboy. That would a Punk Sinister, right? That would be good to see. I would love to have you guys back to just air out your differences. I probably won't have a chance to talk, but I'm sure you'll have a lot to say, and I'm sure Punk Sinister will have a lot to say.
Listen, he's upset, and I'm gonna tell you what he's upset about. He's upset because of the fact that everybody makes mistakes.
Yep.
When you're young in the business, you're gonna make mistakes. And my mistake was turning my back on my partner, Prince Fontenot. And he's upset because I actually went about things the wrong way. But the crowd accepted me afterwards because at the end of the day, they understood what I was trying to do. And I worked hard to gain their trust back. And that's why I'm in the position that I am now. Okay. He's upset because he can't do what I'm doing. Hey, there's another individual, I'm not going to name him, that's upset that they can't do what I'm doing. But I can tell you like this, if his colorful behind wants to get in the ring with me too, like I said, we're going to stay unnamed. If he wants to get that smoke too, he can. That's all I'm going to say on that. Because that he's not important. He's irrelevant dealing with the situation with Punk Sinister.
All right. Got that. So you talk about Prince, right? You mentioned his name.
No. It's not Prince.
No. I'm saying you mentioned Prince's name. Mm-hmm. Not in this Punk Sinister ordeal. I'm sure that whoever that other one that's irrelevant to the whole situation knows who he is. Mm-hmm. But Prince chimed in as well. So would you like to hear what he has to ask?
Absolutely.
So he's curious on who came up with the ideas for the promos Royal Pain used to do. They were some of the most laugh out loud, funniest promos we've seen in a while.
Prince gets on my nerves. He did. And the thing about it is Prince knows, and everybody knows, if you can figure out a way, and it don't take much, if you can figure out a way to break me out of character on a promo, you've done a lot. And Prince, there was one particular promo that we did. Yeah, and Drew just said it, the wigs. Oh my God. So there was a promo we did with some dreaded wigs. And we were talking about you never know who gonna show up. It could be this person, this person, this person. And I go to try to straighten it because it was all in my face. I go to try to straighten it and I shake my head back and I throw the hair back and the wig comes completely flying off of my head to the point where everybody in the room was trying not to die laughing, including me. And I was like, I had just, oh my God. But he comes up with some of the craziest things when it comes to promos. But when it's something like our chemistry will match so much because just the raw talent and just the thought process that we always would think alike. Okay. And that's what I loved about Prince, man.
All right. So what are your goals and aspirations for the UWE in particular and the wrestling as a whole?
my main goal basically is I would love to be UWE World Heavyweight Champion. Simply because it gives people the opportunity to see that it gives people the opportunity to see that I might not be the biggest, I might not be the most in shape, I might not be this, that, and the third. But if I can do it, somebody else can do it. Somebody out there who's watching, who has a dream, can accomplish their dream too. And it's very similar to in the future. I mean, I would love to be TNA World Heavyweight Champion, WWE World Heavyweight Champion, work my way up to the top and have a lifelong legacy that not only me, but in the future when I have kids and others and my family can be proud of. Um, and to just have a life to I can give back and show people, man, at the end of the day, if I did it and everybody told me I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't do this, I would never make it, how you know God got this in plan for you? And it's just like Liv Morgan say, watch me. Watch me do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So who stands in your way of the UWE heavyweight champion?
X Storms.
X Storm. We
X
haven't talked about him
Storms.
yet.
And simply because I have no quarrels with X. I don't really have any problems with X. I've partnered with him a few times. Um, the chemistry is there, but it's not there. I think we're really just kind of still learning each other. Um,
What he has, what
but
you want.
yeah, yeah, he has something I want. He has something I need in order to accomplish my goal, and I'm gonna have to try to figure out a way to get it from him without making things personal. It's just got to be business. But I feel like X is gonna find a way to make things personal. I just have that feeling.
Okay. So far in your career, your 3 years, UWE, the other promotion, what has been your favorite moment thus far?
Winning the World Tag Team Championships with Prince Fontenot. Um, Later in the next year, we lost him. Like I said, literally, my grandfather died April 12th, and then like we buried him the 22nd, and then days later, I lost my tag team championship. And I don't know if anybody out there is religious, but when one door closes, another one opens. And that's where this beauty came into the play. My NHEW United States Championship. And I won this I want to say in August of 23. And I've had it ever since. So my biggest thing is um two of the most proudest moments of my life. And probably the last proudest moment I'm gonna ever forever hold in my heart is my debut. My debut.
Congrats. Doodle Babin. Says congrats.
Oh, another opponent
Uh-oh.
I've had. Another good guy. I've wrestled him back in February, I believe.
Awesome.
February.
So what did it feel like to be the world's tag team champions of the world during the Black History Month? How'd that feel?
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
What did it feel like to be the world tag team champion of the world during Black History Month?
Amazing. Because nowadays where I'm from, where I'm at, you don't really hear anything good. Especially in the African American community. Lately here in Alexandria, it's been a lot of killing and things left and right. And it's a lot of younger guys. Um, and it's sad because at the end of the day, so some of these guys have potential, and I think nobody's really just sat down with them to just bring it out and say, "Hey, man, look, the path you're going down is not the one you want to deal with." And so back when we had the championships, we actually were going to different events, different speaking events, talking to kids, meeting up with, and it wasn't just black, it was white, Hispanic, it was everything. And it just felt amazing, man, to just be like a beacon of hope that somebody can come along and do this too.
Absolutely, yeah. So, what led to the breakup of the Royal Pain?
Me being young and dumb, me being young and dumb, um, and wanting to do things on my own, making mistakes, and listening to other people that I should have probably not listened to. um, and here's the thing about it. I don't regret it because I learned from it, but I know what not to do in the not so distant future. If I could go back and change some things, I would. I probably would just walk away rather than attack Prince. But that's water under the bridge. Um, hopefully one day Royal Pain can actually get back together
Okay.
and work some things out and be just as dominant as we were before, maybe even more.
So, is there anybody that could fill the void of by Royal Pain?
Say it again.
Is there anybody, or has anyone filled the void left by Royal Pain?
No.
Yeah.
There's never in the UWE there's never been a team quite like Royal Pain because people really couldn't figure out how to deal with Royal Pain. Uh the promos, uh the just the chemistry that we had, and nobody else had that. Maybe the New York Express maybe had a little bit of chemistry that was similar, but not like us.
If you could wrestle anyone, who would it be?
My dream opponent, if I could wrestle anybody, I have two. I have two. Um, one, Red Dog Rodney Mack is number one on my list. That's something I definitely want to get done before it's said and done, before he retires. And number two, it's probably another guy who I look up to that's in WWE, Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
I would love to face Bobby Lashley, man. I watched this dude from the time he debuted on SmackDown to now. Um, you couldn't tell me nothing wrong about Bobby Lashley. You just couldn't. But those two guys are probably two that I would definitely one day dream of facing off, especially Rodney Mack.
Okay. Another question that Prince had was, there has been many of who've not made it through pro wrestling school. Why is that, and how did you make it through?
So, man, number one is you got to be devoted to it. If you're not devoted to it and your heart is not in it, your mind's not in it, you're not gonna accomplish what you want to accomplish and get on the stage you want to get on. There's gonna be nights you're gonna go home sore, hurt, thinking, have self doubt. Um, but you have to figure out a way to work through it. You have to figure out what works for you. Um, you may not move at the same pace as everybody else, and that's fine. But maybe you may need different training, different one-on-one training, different other things to incorporate to get you where you need to be with everybody else. And it didn't come for me overnight. It didn't come for a lot of guys overnight. But we stuck with it. And here we are at year three and a half, going on four. And I'm still not letting up. It's still things I could learn and still train and do and everything. And until my last dying breath, I'm not gonna stop until I want to be where I want to be at.
Okay. Who are some qualified trainers for young people hoping to be get in the wrestling business?
It so of course I'm gonna always say UW, Dapper Dan, Prince Fontenot. That's gonna be my number one guys. If you're in the central Louisiana area, um, check us out. Definitely. They created us. They got us to where we are now. It really kind of depends on, and you have to really do your research. If you can afford to go to um Ring of Honor, if you can afford to go to reality or wrestling and then some of these other places get trained, by all means do it. It's not for everybody, but if you can figure out a way to manage and do it, I mean, do it. But do your research first. That's number one. And that's where a lot of people fail. They're not doing the research to actually look and be like, okay, this is this. And that's what a lot of people mess up at too. Because if you really want it, you're gonna sacrifice things. You're gonna sacrifice. You're gonna have to go without this, go without that. I want these pair of shoes this week. I want this. I want this. But if you really, really want that dream and really do this, man, sometimes you're gonna have to sacrifice and like, look, I gotta put this all to the side to put this up here to afford down payment for this to get into wrestling or put it toward my gear. And it's easier said than done. It is easier said than done. I've sacrificed so much to get my gear custom made and everything. Um, and all kind of stuff. But I know that at the end of it all, I had to sit down and be like, look, this is this is what I want, and this is how I'm gonna make it happen.
Okay. Out of respect for the prince, who has invested in making of Ruthless Devonte Adams? And is there any more local as well as national mountains to climb for you?
So people who invested in Devonte Adams, um, man, it's you know how when the list is long and you're afraid to name people because you're gonna forget somebody. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. It's so many.
Okay. That's
It's so
mad,
many,
mad
and
respect
it's
for that.
so many pulling for me. So it's unreal. Like even people on the job and everything are like, man, listen, we want you to go sign somebody's contract because you are that good. You keep doing what you're doing and keep pushing because we want to see you make it. And to those people, man, I say thank you. Thank you for the push. Thank you for the kicks in the behind. And it's so many behind the Ruthless Nation to and why I'm here now. But the list is so long, all I can do is just say, listen to all the ones, and you know who you are. Thank you. And let me go ahead and say this, because I would be wrong to say this. There is a young lady by the name of Yasmin Celestine that I better go ahead and mention because she has put more into Ruthless Devonte Adams than anybody else since I've known her. And thank you. Thank you so much for even finding that post and saying you need to go do it. It's a lot of people who took the credit and can say, "Oh, we made Devontae." No, she had a lot to do with making Devontae, a whole lot to do with it. And
Is she still part of your life? You still okay?
yeah, definitely so, definitely so.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. That's awesome. That's a great start to hear. And finally, what does entertaining the fans mean to you? That's Prince's last question.
Entertaining the fans. Without entertaining your fans, you basically have killed off a match. Um, if you keep them invested, they're gonna keep investing in you. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you lose your fans, you have nothing to invest in. So you're always gonna gain these fans, and you're always gonna meet different people, and it just all depends on what their style is. If they're a fan of the bad guy, if they're a fan of the good guy, it's all about what you do and their perception of you, what you give them. And if you're not giving out something that's believable, man, you can hang it up. It's not you've already lost already.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important. Without your fans, you don't really have anything.
So I'm going to give you the virtual mic.
Mhm.
We've talked about the warden. We talked about Austin Andrews. We talked about JT. We talked about Rico Wildby. We've talked about people that run their mouth about you. This is your time. Anything you need to get off your chest to say to these people before we close the show?
Absolutely, absolutely. First of all, let me say thank you to the ones who believed in me, the ones who got old Devontae where he is now. Thank you to the haters. Thank you to the naysayers. Because without y'all, I wouldn't have kept grinding. I wouldn't have kept pushing. I wouldn't have kept trying to fight tooth and nail to get where I am now. I wouldn't have this title and have had the past titles that I've had. Thank you, because you are my ammunition. You are the fire that's under me to keep me going and keep me firing and keep me doing what I'm doing. To the ones who still throw sneak shots and this and then the third. If you want to step in the ring with old Pitbull, I have no problem humbling you or anybody else. And I stand on business when I say that. Like T.I. said, I stand on business when I say that. So, as for Ricker for this weekend, Ricky, you better do a lot of studying, brother, because I told you once and I told you again, I'm gonna burn the carnival down. And I'm gonna make sure that at the end of the day, man, you're gonna understand why I am the leader of the Ruthless Nation. Brady Brown. Oh, me and Brady, we gotta have that long talk. July 20th. You, me, and TD Shepherd. But at the end of the day, really, TD, you already know it's a challenge. So at the end of the day, whenever you ready, brother, hey, better man won that night. I give you your credit. But Brown, Brady, he ain't gonna get off the hook that easy. There's a couple people who I need to fire shots at Northwest Pro in the Washington State. Taekwondo Bro. Whenever I see you again, brother, you got two up on me right now, but when I see you, I plan on breaking that record soon. So get ready because I'm getting my dub eventually. Uh, and let me go ahead and throw this one out here too. Alliance Championship Wrestling. DeMarcus Rashard. Hear me carefully when I tell you. You said something a while back that I was one of your dream matches. Whenever you ready, brother, one on one, let's make it happen. But the only thing about I ask about it is it's a strikers match. That's all I want. Anybody else who got an issue with old Pitbull, I just say it like John Cena used to say it back in the gap. If you want some, come get some. Mic drop.
Oh, mic drop. So, huge pop wrestling podcast fans would like to know where can they get a hold of Devonte Adams, the Ruthless One? How can they get your gear? How can they get your auto? How can they get your 8x10s, etc.?
So for my fans that's out there that want to be part of the Ruthless Nation, or if you already are part of the Ruthless Nation, you can catch me in multiple different platforms. If you're on YouTube, you can catch me at Ruthless Devonte Adams Official. That's the only way you're going to be able to pull up the page because for some odd reason we've learned if you put in Devonte Adams, the football player comes up. Please do not confuse me with the football player. So that's why we put the official behind it. Ruthless Devonte Adams Official. I am on Facebook. Look me up, Ruthless Devonte Adams. Instagram, ruthless.d underscore Adams underscore official. And on TikTok, ruthless underscore d dot Adams. That's where you can find me at on all platforms. I really don't do the Snapchat thing, and I don't do the X, Twitter, whatever it's called now. I don't really know. I don't really do any of that. Maybe in the future we may do something for Devontae. We're not 100% sure. Uh, Gear. Me and my friend Leslie Harrington. Big shout out to him. If you're in Central Louisiana and you need a photographer, he does all my pictures. Harrington Studios. Look him up on Facebook. Harrington Studios. Big shout out to him for that. But we are currently trying to work on getting a website made to where you can purchase all the gear, all the 8x10s, anything you want for the Ruthless Nation. We will be having, basically like this shirt here. We have a blue one and a black one. There will be a purple one coming soon. Um, in the not too distant future, there will be some other things coming up. We're gonna keep a little hush hush, but That's neither here or there. But again, I say thank you to everybody who's been supporting me this far. Thank you to everybody who's gotten me this far. Make sure you please like, subscribe, follow, everything of that nature.
Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast fan. We just heard it from the Pitbull, the Ruthless one, the Ruthless Devonte Adams. We talked about Warrior Wrestling Alliance. We talked about United Wrestling Entertainment. We talked about Northwest Pro Wrestling. He's made his shout outs to people. Brady Brown, you better be paying attention. TJ Shepard, you better be paying attention. Ricka, dude, I have nothing to say but good luck Saturday. And I don't know. Taekwon, bro. I guess that's what he said. Hear the shots, man. I hear the shots. Play it back. This man's for real. Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast says thank you to Ruthless Devonte Adams. I'm going to play a song to close the show. Please don't go anywhere. I want to talk to you after the show's over. But again, like everything else, like Huge Pop always says, Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast is for life. You guys have a good night.
All my dogs, make some noise up in this house.
Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster of destruction, so you know what's going down. And when the drive-by's coming, then you better hit the grind. Cause when your body hits the canvas, then your ass is knocked out. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster of destruction, so you know what's going down. And when the drive-by's coming, then you better hit the grind. Cause when your body hits the canvas, then your ass is knocked out.
Fight with Adrian Whisper is like a fight with the devil, because when he's dealing with you, you cannot get on this level.
Fight with Adrian Whisper is like a fight with a king. It's like a fight with an army. They got the tanks and everything.
He's leaving bruises and stitches, possibly leaving you crippled, cause when he sets up the table and sends you straight through the middle.
Take sadistic free, beat that ass with a light bulb. Leave a piece of glass embedded in the back of your skull. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster of destruction, so you know what's going down. And when the drive-by's coming, then you better hit the ground. Cause when your body hits the canvas, then your ass is knocked out. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster of destruction, so you know what's going down. And when the drive-by's coming, then you